a person lost his life now because opposition didn't give enough money to them to supply themselves medicine to afford their vital needs, like their primary needs. When at the same time, their executives buy his Ford's Ferrari. And today, as proposition, we believe that this system is unfair. And because of that, this House condemns the payment of bonuses to executives to supplement their salaries. And to do that, first of all, I'm going to give you our model and two arguments, which are the principal justification of why we are doing this and the practical benefits of our solution. And my second speaker is going to talk about vicious cycle. Now, our model. Instead of executives, we are going to distribute these bonuses to employees. And now, I want to start to my first argument, which is a principal justification of why we are doing this. The majority of our society is employed, like 99% of them, and just a small minority is executives. And those employees right now have needs. They need medicine, so they need to supply, they need to afford food, they need to pay their rent, they need to take care of their families and send their children to school. However, our executives are already done with their vital primary needs, and so they are buying like their third or maybe fourth car. They are having, buying their George's mansions, and they are having luxury. And also, our employees are doing this with small wages, but however, our executives are doing this with like millions of dollars of salaries. And today, as a proposition, we believe that even $1 million more or less won't hurt them, and they will still be happy while they're still affording their luxuries and their luxuries needs. And by this time, with this extra amount of money, we are going to distribute it to employees, and those employees will be able to provide their needs much more easily. Easily, and by this way they will be much more happier, because we are going to ease their pain, because it will be much more easier for them to buy their food. It will be much more easier for them to afford their medicine and their vital needs. And today, we believe that affording those needs and those food, maybe medicine and so forth, is much more important need than buying an extra or like a luxury mansion. And instead of buying an extra mansion, we are going to help those employees to provide those needs of them. And also, it is stated in the motion to supplement their salary. Those executives have already high salary, right? They don't need any, we believe that they don't need any supplement. However, our employees.
Okay, why don't they need any supplement?
Because they already have huge amounts of money. They can like with those extra $1 million, for example. What are they going to do? Maybe they are going to buy another house, maybe buy another car, and so forth. However, when we distribute this money to those employees, they maybe can't buy they can buy medicine for themselves. They will buy themselves medicine. Their children are going to go. They will be able to go to school, and they will be able to afford their vital needs. And we believe that today it's much more important. And then, and also it is stated in the motion. We believe that the employees are the ones who need to supplement their salaries, because they are having difficulties while they're affording their vital needs. And also, we are a pragmatic governance. Our main target is to maximize the happiness of our society. By this way, we are making the 99% of our society very happy, and we are just making 1% of our society less happy, but they will still be happy because they will still have their cars and those mansions. And this is our target. Now, I want to come to my second argument, which is practical benefits of our model. We are saving lives. The majority, as you know, the majority of the workforce is going to China, India, Taiwan, Indonesia. these people gain less than 1 million a day, $1 a day. They live in very bad conditions. They work in really hard conditions and they really work hard. They don't have health care, they don't have welfare, and those, even one more extra dollar means a lot for them because it's like multiplying their normal salary like 2 times or 3 times. For example, in China, 7 million people can't even access to healthcare. They don't have healthcare. So what in opposition's case, they die. But however, in our case, they survive, or it is much more easy for them to survive because they can provide their medicine, they can find food, they won't starve, and it will be they will have better life conditions. I can't understand.
You know, just by giving them bonuses, everything will be solved, you know, because it's a very big problem.
And I understand their point. Maybe they won't be solved. However, it's an improvement here. In your system, you don't give them a chance to they go there and die. However, in our system, at least it's much more easier for them. Maybe they won't still be affording that medicine, but at least it will be one more step closer to that medicine, and still we believe that it's much more beneficial for those people. And now I want to continue with the minority case. In the minority, let's look at Greece, Ireland, Spain, and Portugal, for example. These countries hardly afford social services like healthcare, welfare. However, they are getting into huge debts. And then what happens? Those services go back, and also they cannot be provided anymore. What happens that people cannot afford them anymore with their minimum wages? This system failed in 1920s, 1930s, 1970s, and it is still failing, as we see in Europe. In USA, it's the same story too. For example, same story too. The healthcare is not provided, or even though it's provided, central banks can't provide it. It's so much expensive that people with a minimum rate cannot afford it. And we see that even in minority, the country that we their economy is really good and so forth, your system is failing. However, in our system, people are much more happier, healthier, and living in really good, better conditions. And our executives can still have their cars, their mansions, and still they are able to supply their expenses, their luxuries, and they are still happy. So, in our system, we are providing them a win-win situation, which is working beneficial for both sides, and both of the sides will be happy from that. Today, I want to summarize what I told you. I gave you our model. I told you the principal justification of why we are doing it, and I told you about our practical benefit of our solution. Thanks for listening to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, what the proposition team should prove today is the fact that this payment of bonuses has a real harm on at the level of the CEO and also the level of the company. But currently the proposition team doesn't actually understand what this motion is about. Let's take a look at their case. They try to impose a model in which we should distribute these bonuses to employees. But they don't know the fact that these employees already have a base salary and they also have those bonuses. So why we should take a bonus from an employee in a company which is this executive, and to give another bonus to another employee who already have a base salary and also have this bonus. So we see that at the end of the day, by trying to implement their model, they will create this balance, because some employees will have their base salary, will also have their bonuses that they receive according to their performance, and they will have an extra amount of money which will be distributed by the bonus of these companies. So we actually don't see what is the link between this motion and the model that the proposition team tries to impose today. Because let's be serious, they can provide their needs through their salaries, and if this salary isn't actually enough, they can provide their needs by bonuses that these employees have. But taking into consideration the fact that this motion today stands for the fact that the proposition team should focus on the fact that this payment of bonuses, the policy that this payment has a real heart, we believe that the proposition didn't actually understand the motion and didn't actually prove, only a second, and didn't actually prove how this payment has a real impact on the executive, on the CEO, and so on. Yes, please.
You are saying that those people have already bonus and so on, however, they are dying there. You don't say that in your motion.
The fact that people are dying on Earth isn't actually the problem today. The problem today is about this payment of bonuses. So if we have people that die on Earth, if we have financial problems, this is another problem that stands for another motion, perhaps. But today the problem is the fact that this payment of bonuses, that they should prove the fact that this payment of bonuses has a real heart and should be should be condemned. Let's see exactly what the opposition team stands for. We stand for the fact that we must reward performance, and we see the fact that this CEO is the most important person in the company after the board of directors, and we see the fact that he has some duties and he has an extra responsibility which must be rewarded. I will pass to the opposition case. No, thank you. I will present the first two arguments of the opposition case. First, efficiency of bonuses for executive. The second is the necessity of bonuses for companies. And the third will be presented by my colleague, which is bonuses which represent no harm. Passing on to the first point of the opposition case. We believe today that in order to reward performance, there must be an extra amount of money except the base salary. So let's take a look at what is exactly the real remuneration of an executive. We have a base salary which represents a reward for a medium level of activity, and we have performance which is made up by this normal level of activity and an extra effort. This normal level of activity is rewarded by a base salary, but at the end of the day we have this extra effort which is which must be rewarded, and we see the fact that these bonuses represent a way to reward their extra effort, a way to reward their extra performance, because at the end of the day this base salary motivates you only at a certain level, but in order to have performance, but in order to have performance you must be motivated, you must be incentivized. And how is an executive incentivized to do his best for the company when he is the most important person in that company, when he has only a base salary? We believe that a CEO, in order to be performant, and the company, in order to have profit, he must put an extra effort. And at the end of the day, this extra effort must be rewarded. We see that these bonuses are the way to reward them. Passing on to the second point of our opposition case, we have this necessity for this company. Taking consideration that an executive is the most important person and he sets up the strategy for this company, and he is the one who is directly related to the profit of the company, we see that by giving him only his base salary, he won't be actually incentivized to put all his efforts. No, thank you. He won't be actually motivated to put his extra effort in order the company to have profit. And we see that by eliminating these bonuses, we have an executive that won't put his best in order to the company to have profit. And without these bonuses, the level of the company will be the same, or maybe will decrease. And we see that this can lead to some economical problems, because when you have this incentivize for a person, when you give him something in order to incentivize him to work more, then he surely will maintain his level increasing, because he is interested in to be rewarded. He wants to have something more in order to have this, in order to the company to have profit. So we see that that these bonuses represent actually the best way for an executive to be efficient and also represent a necessity for the company. Why? Because these bonuses are actually the way in which the company sets their level, and also in which an executive sets. Yes, please.
You say that they won't be incentivized without the bonuses, but why do you think their salaries are higher anyway?
Their salaries are higher because they are the most. They have the most important function in a company, and their salaries are according to their responsibilities. The fact is that these bonuses are related to their extra effort, and we'll see that these bonuses will has to be a big sum because they are related to the profit that they bring into that company, and we'll see that at the moment, in the moment that they will bring a huge contract to that company, and the company will have an extra profit, then it's normal to say that that his bonuses will be a huge sum. So we at the end of the day don't see actually a problem with these bonuses because they are only an incentivized for this CEO to maintain, not only to maintain his level but also to increase him. Taking all this in consideration, the opposition team really considered that we must reward performance and that bonuses are the best way to do this. Taking all this in consideration, please oppose the motion. Thank you. Wait for a second. Yes.
Do you want a new one?
Okay, second proposition here.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we as side proposition think that opposition did not really understand our aims. First of all, I will start with rebuttals and then I will continue on with my argument, which is about the vicious cycle of reports. Firstly, the first speaker of side opposition said that people dying isn't a problem. Let me tell you something. Practical benefits is the aim of our pragmatic government, and human life is the biggest practical benefit for us. And you say that it's not even about the motion, but you don't really see our aims. We are trying to save lives here by giving what little that we can to the people from that we get from the bonuses that would otherwise have been paid to the executives. So secondly, you said that they already have base salaries and they sometimes get bonuses when the company is successful. And but we say that that is not enough because these people. These people may get some share of the bonuses that the executive gets too, but the executive gets immense amounts of bonuses, while these people get so little bonuses that they don't it doesn't even help them. What we're trying to do is go by little steps and help these people in getting a better life, and maybe even decreasing the gap between these people. And secondly, you said that according to performance, And when people work harder, they are rewarded with bonuses, and at the end of the day, that's how the case is with people. But we say that in the current statistical, that's promotions. Promotions are rewarded to those people, maybe the exception of CEO, perhaps. The promotions are given to those people who work hard at the end of the day, because bonuses are just some bonuses for private deals and individual deals that are made by the executives. And we are just saying that that bonuses should be taken and given to the people for their own benefits. So, you also said that extra responsibilities should be rewarded. We, as a pragmatic government who's trying to save lives, say that that's a sacrifice. That's the sacrifice that the executive should have to do, and we, as a government, that's where we step in. We take the money and we give it to the poor to save lives. And maybe with that money, that is going to do something else. Thank you, comments. But now we are trying to save lives, which is the most important factor.
Can you explain exactly how are you going to save those lives?
Well, as my first speaker said, these people work in very poor conditions, and in countries like China and India and Taiwan, these people have very little access to healthcare and welfare, and these people just have enough money to feed their own families, and they feed the higher education for their children, and that's why this little money will make the little difference, and it is the little step that the government will maybe do to make these people's lives better. And so, also, he said the executive is the most important person and therefore he deserves this bonus. But let me remind you something. Executive isn't bad. With this bonus, he's going to do luxurious things, secondary needs, as my first speaker said so many times. But these people that are trying to say have primary needs, and that's the most important thing that the government has to think about when they try to save the lives of these people, which you fail to do, I'm sorry. And you said these people are not satisfied by their salary only, the executives. But let me remind you something. What is the proportion of an executive salary is to a worker's current normal employee salary? Do you think it's maybe hundreds of times more, and that's what incentivizes the executive, because he gets that much more money for him to be incentivized, and that's what that's what's the difference between him and a regular employee, and that's what incentivizes and motivates him, and that's why the bonuses, we see no harm in the bonuses given to the regular employees, and it won't harm the luxurious needs of the people that you're saying.
I think you're going to take those bonuses from the executive.
Well, we as the government, that's very irrelevant at that point. My first argument is the vicious cycle, as side proposition said. So, for some time, the rich people, like the executives that we've been talking about, get richer and richer, while the poor get poorer and poorer because of these bonuses and things like that, because of the new things that they have inherited from the capitalist system, and we aim to ultimately destroy this cycle, and I'm going to show you with this. Think about 200 years ago, before the capitalist system and before the factories and the bonuses and the executives who are getting richer and richer, and the workers of the primary needs problems, there was not much difference between the poor and the rich. But now, when time moved on, there is now a huge gap in many countries in Europe and the countries that we see as advanced, like the United States, and also in China and India too, where the rich are extreme rich and the poor are extreme poor, and while some are buying houses, some are don't have even houses to live under, and living in the streets. But what will happen? I am asking a question. What will happen 200 years later? But what we need to do something as a government. That's where the government steps in. We as the pragmatic government, see need over deserving. The executives, maybe their hard work and their education and their things, maybe they deserve more than their employees, but need is the thing that the government is concerned about right now, because we see that these people need it, and we see no reason that why we can't take that money from bonus from those guys and give it to the poor workers. And also, workers, as you know, are the backbone of every organization, and the poor. And these people, the executives can decide all day long. They need these people to stand on, like the government needs the people and such. these are the primary pillars of any organization, and they need to care about these people and provide them even with a little $1 that they need to provide them this bonus that may probably change their lives. And also, you said that these people do double shifts just to earn a little more money, and they work at night. You say that the executive that has risks, and that's why he needs motivation. But those are, I see those risks as risks they may or that may or may not really work. But that guy risks physical injury every day and works in very little conditions, as my first speaker said. And very poor conditions, and most of them have no access to healthcare and rural education, and while the children are suffering and the people are suffering, and people are dying. As you said, that's not a problem. We say that that's a very big problem, and we are going to save lives with these plans. And also, I don't see how menial work is any inferior to my work in any ways, and that's why the menial work also has its risks, and also and these people deserve those bonuses because of the hard work that they do every day, and they need it, and that's the whole thing, that's the end of the story. They need this superior to deserving, and that's what we will do right now as a government. We are going to take that money, give it to the poor, and save lives, unlike you. So what did I tell you today, to conclude? I told you about the vicious cycle that we aim to break, in which the poor gets poorer and the rich gets richer, and we are going to help those people who work in very menial jobs and work in poor conditions and without any health care, welfare, and we are going to help those people by taking the bonuses from executives and giving that to those people. So I urge you to go inside the position to save lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do not really understand today how can, by taking these bonuses, can we save a life. Because they told us that if we take them and we give it to the poor, we are going to have a better society, and by giving $1, a child is going to be saved. But we do not really practically understand how will this work. So, we have some questions. How do we take this money from bonuses? Because we see that they are actually working for these bonuses and are having extra effort for accomplishing their job and making profit for the company that they work. So, how are we going to save a child? Because you said this is a little amount of money and it's a little different. So, it's not basically worth it to take this money from those CEOs in order to have the possibility, probability, and nothing secure in the future to have this improvement at a large scale. No, thank you. And we see that we have already organizations that are investing in the wealth of the population in what concerns the people that are needed to be taken care of. So we have America that invests in AIDS in programs, and we see that ONU extended its borders. So we see that we do not exactly have the link between the motion and why the payment of bonuses should be condemned, and why is it so harmful for the society as a whole to do that. Taking on this in consideration, I'm going to pass over the proposition case, and I'm going to rebuttal their ideas because I don't really have a structure. And I'm going to tell you about their case. They came and said, we are going to take these bonuses and give it to the borrowers, and they will be happy. But we do not really understand if they refer to the employers. So they said, first they are going to take it from the executives and give them to the employers, and afterwards they said they are giving to the dying ones in another country. So we do not see how exactly this will work, and from whom will benefit from this bonuses. But after all, we do not see the link between why the executive company bonuses are to be condemned. They also say that in China they have bad conditions, and in other countries. people are dying on us, but we do not see how exactly, and I'm going to ask them to explain how exactly by just taking this amount of money from this executive and give it to them will resolve the problem of dying people, because we said at this level we have already organizations that are concerned about it, and that by giving just it is not worth it to have these executives, no thank you, that are working for those bonuses to give them this money. So and we also think that by letting the bonuses being paid to these executives, it's better for the society, because these companies are having profit, and by getting profit, they will have we will have a growth of the economy. So we see that there is not really a disadvantage of these bonuses. We see that by having incentivized people, by having performance, by having a CEO that is motivated and having extra working, it will be profit, and it will be a benefit on the economy and on the growth of it. So we are saying today that the proposition team does not clearly understand the purpose of this motion, and they do not really explain to us why these bonuses should be condemned in the actual status quo of the payment of bonuses, and not about saving lives, because we would also like to save lives, but not by taking these bonuses from the executives. So I'm going to explain exactly why it is worth it to have these bonuses and to invest in the performance, because we believe today that we should reward performance. We have today in the company based executives, as I said it to you, there are important people that set the management of the company and how the company should work in the future. They are looking at the profit. So you see that it is worth it not to give them just a base salary, because it is not incentivizing only at a medium level. And by yes,
why don't you consider the help and the welcomes of those employees who help those CEOs and executives who make the profit?
Well, that's how a company works. By having employment that are having a better ranking, and that people have a more important job in order to lead the company and to help the other employers to have to learn them how to do their job. So we see that by paying these bonuses, we have a rewarding for performance. We have extra effort, so we need to have extra money to incentivize these people to perform better for the company in order to obtain a profit. And we do not really we think that it is just, because even there is actually no problem in giving these executive bonuses to these people that are actually having a greater responsibility for the company and for their job. We also see the necessity of the company, because as I said, no bonus, because if we do not have bonuses, what it will happen? We have a person that will not be incentivized enough to have a hard-working future and to give more money. It will only have a medium level, and hopefully yes, it will work like that. And it will not really be incentivized to have a profit for the company as a whole. And we see that as a problem, because if there is no profit, it's also in the detriment of the company and the economical growth of it. Which is to my third point. We see today that there is actually no harm by having these bonuses. We see that in the company, we have the CEO that wants to get bonuses, and we have the firm's policy that wants to reward performance for gaining profit. So if a firm wants profit, it's normal to have some bonuses to incentivize the people that can get the bigger contract and can get a real profit in the long term for the company. So instead, all the parts of this system agree on the payment of bonuses. They agree on the CEOs, and they agree, of course, the board of directors that have the means to establish this. So we see that after all, we have a system that is working, and you do not have an impediment in the actual market and everything. After all, and after this day, we think that just by taking by taking these bonuses from the CEOs, we will not save the disadvantaged ones, and we will take the performance from the companies, and we will have an economical crash. So, taking all this in consideration, we beg you to oppose. Second proposition, speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to explain our debate into different flashpoints, and I'm going to try to make you understand that understand why proposition team stays stronger in this debate. My two flashpoints are first, do we have to give this? Can we give this bonus to the employees? And do we have the right to not give this bonus to the executives? And the second point is it going to be beneficial? First of all, I would like to start with my first point, which is why executives don't need this bonus in their lives. Firstly, this, as my first and second speaker told you, these executives don't need this bonus in their lives because they have already a big salary which gives them 2 different houses and 4 different cars and a lot of different luxuries which poor people can't even imagine. So why do we have to give this bonus to those people who have high salaries than the employees and who have a lot more luxury in their houses? First of all, these people don't have first need that people need, because they already have secondary needs, and they already buy a lot of different luxuries in their lives. So if we distribute this bonus to the poor, then we can save lives, and I'm going to explain how we can save those lives in my second question. And also, the opposition team's one and only argument was the motivation that those executives that will have when they get the bonus. Well, we have promotions and we have hiring people for that job. If that person doesn't work, no thank you. If that person doesn't work on that table, then we're going to fire them and get another executive. Yes, I know that finding, no thank you, an executive is not that easy, but please, if we have some kind of a if we need a person to be an executive for Coca-Cola, maybe, then there will be a lot of people will sign for this job, and there will be one person that will be qualified enough to be that executive. Even though it is not that qualified, it will work hard and it will try to do the best of his job to be in that job. Even there is no bonuses, just for that salary that the executive has, because that salary is not like $15 a day and that worker is getting only $1. That salary is 15,000 in a month or in a year maybe, but it's not a year, I'm sure. And that person who is the worker is suffering from hunger, and he needs medication and everything. And their children is, as my second speaker told you, vicious cycle. Their children is not going to be educated. Okay, maybe we will not give them that education by that $1 that we will have when we distribute that money, but we will give them a chance to survive. No, thank you. So side opposition's one argument, which is the motivation falls when we say we can hire new people, and also there will be promotions, and also I would like to explain you, those bonuses are not only because the executives had good decisions. Okay, maybe there are some bonuses that, no thank you, that are being done by those executives, but not always they are done by those executives. It has the investment that factory or that company has already an impact on those bonuses. So that bonus is not only the executive's right. Yes, we know that those workers have a salary and they have bonuses too, but that bonus is like 50 cents in a year. So I'm sure that if with that, no thank you, with that bonus, that person will do a lot of different things and that he will live. Yes. So I'm going to move on to my second question. Yes.
Mentioning that the bonus it needs to reflect how much you work in the greater responsibility that you have.
Yes, we think that too, but when we consider that people are dying in a place, and I'm going to explain that in a moment, people are dying and a person needs a sports Ferrari, then we're going to choose, okay, that person doesn't need that because that person's salary has salaries to supplement their work and to give them a motivation. And also, the salary's highness is representing the group's responsibility of that person too. So I'm going to move on to my second crash point, which is the beneficial part of this of our model. First of all, we are saving people's health. We are making that bonus, which is not actually $15 in a year, which is actually $15,000 in a year, maybe. And we're targeting this because for those workers. And I want to give you an information. Bonuses are 1% of the profit that the company has. So 1% of a profit is actually in a company very much because those companies have a lot of different factories and they have a lot of different investments. So that 1% is a lot of money. So it is not only $1 for a person. And even if it is only $1 for a person, that person's salary is $1. So you're doubling that salary, and that will save life because that person is already living in a $1 situation. So when you give him $1 more, then he will have a luxury for himself. So we're saving lives by giving them the double of their salaries. And also, I explained to you how this bonus is not a very much impact on that executive, and also I explained you how that $1 stays alive too, which is not actually a $1 when we divide it because it's a very huge number. And I would like to thank you. Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now, today's motion is today this House condemns the payment of bonuses to executives in order to supplement their salaries. Well, what today's proposition team should show us was the fact that those bonuses brings to our society such a big harm that we, as people, should condemn them and should say no more bonuses from tomorrow. Something like this. But what we say today, what today the proposition team actually said, is the fact that, okay, we don't want these bonuses because of the fact that we already have huge salaries, and because of the fact that we already have huge salaries, we don't need bonuses. So that's what basically they said. So today I will prove you the fact that this principle that they condemn not concerns bonuses isn't in fact a real harm at any level if we want to at any level. So first I will talk about how really bonuses work. And then I will talk about how companies work. Now first, and in the first point I will tell you why this fact that they bring us, they doesn't really bring a harm to the society. And in the second point, I will show you why, in fact, the model they bring us as an alternative to the fact that they condemn a thing without saying why they condemn a thing, isn't going to work. So first, how bonus work? Well, we have the fact that we need, in order for a company to work, we need performance. And in order to gain this performance, we need to have a base salary that is going to be implemented according to the performance of the person that has this base salary. And it's the fact that we got those CEOs or those executives that have such a big responsibility, that spend so many time of their lives thinking about the company's good and what should company do in order to perform better, and what should company do in order to take new measures to implement, to bring profit to that company. And it's the fact that these CEOs have to maintain the image of the company and have such a big responsibility for this company and have such an impact in what concerns the company as a whole. And you see that, in fact, those CEOs are really the image of the company and have a really big responsibility in what concerns. And in order to pay for this responsibility, we need to give them those base salaries, which need to be very high because of the fact that they take so much risk. They need to take so many decisions. They need to work with so many things that aren't things that imply only a small level of society. They imply macro decisions. They imply macro things, and they imply they imply so many things that require this salary. So we justify the fact that they have this salary. Now, those bonuses, what we stand for today is the fact that those bonuses are in order to reward performance. Why do we need to reward performance? No, thank you. It's because of the fact that we need to have companies that work very good. And we need in order for a company to work very good, we need that company to have performance on the market. And how we get this performance on the market? By the fact that we need that executive to give all he or she has, to give all all for that company, to invite very, very much in that company in order that company to have this performance. And when he gives so much for that company, what's the next step? We need to reward what he or she gives for that company. So these bonuses are really, really the only way that we can give that. And the fact that today we say that, okay, but they have few salaries, why to give them bonuses too? Well, they are entitled to give those bonuses by the fact that they imply so much in the policy of the company, and by the fact that they make company to work, and they have to gain nothing. They have to gain so many things that are very important for the company and are very important for the whole company to work. So I'm just basic employees. Now, talking about the fact that how company work and why we don't see a problem in what concerns employees. We see the fact that they don't have such a big responsibility, like those CEOs, because this CEO is basically formed from those workers plus worker plus worker plus worker, and you see the fact that those workers have a responsibility in a strict area, in a certain area of that company. The CEO has to have a responsibility over the whole company, not only an area of that company. And second, we are awarding those employees by according to their performance. Doesn't mean in fact that we give them any harm. If they work hard and if they want to have real money and want to have so much profit, they should work hard in order to become CEOs if they really want this. But today we see that this ranking of the salary and of the bonuses is very well done according to the performance of that company, according to the standards of the market, and we don't see any problem. Nothing. Then another problem that the proposition can sustain us was the fact that, okay, if this CEO is such a great person, we will give him or her a salary. But if he fails, we will give him or we will fire him. But what we see today is the fact that because of the fact that we fire a person, we will not going to have continuity in what concerns the company, and we will see that the company's profit will be something on short term, because every time a new CEO comes, we will see that CEO will have a new strategy and will bring new things to that company, and those things will going to be focused on short term things, because of the fact that if he fails, he will be fired. So it's not like that this measure that today the proposition can sustain isn't one that can apply in this moment, in this situation, and that's what bonus is trying to say. The fact that we need to continue, we need that company to stay on the quotation line, and we need that company to have the same profit, and to not only to have the same profit, but to have profit that will adapt according to the market, and that's what bonuses do. Adapt the company's profit and adapt the company's needs to the market. And what we see today is the fact that by all the measures, by all the things that we propose us, and by letting go the bonuses, we really help the poor children by the fact that we will have more economic growth, and by this we will have the one that we really need that. And we see that this will be done by states and by companies that already done this, and we can interfere in the private sector and give those bonuses, in fact, to those poor ones and things like this, because of the fact that they are private, and because of the fact that we can't impose them one party to do so. All in all, we really think that you should propose more.
what we got at the end of the day. We've got the proposition team who tries to explain to us the fact that these bonuses affects the people that live on Earth, and we've got the opposition case that explains clearly how exactly these bonuses represent a reward for performance and how exactly these bonuses are have a real impact on the society and on the company. First of all, let's see exactly what the proposition team tried to explain to us and how exactly they failed to do this. First of all, they apparently seem to have a problem with the sum of money that these bonuses represent. And they don't actually understand the way in which this system works. Because we have this executive, as we already explained to you, who has the most important function in this company and who has the greatest responsibility, and he is directly related to the profit of that company. And we are going to explain to the fact that even if we would like to save these people, they are not actually related to the people. They don't bring a disadvantage, but they could bring an advantage to these people that are dying. Because if an executive is directly related to that profit, and that profit will increase, then the taxes that a company pays to the state will grow, and the state is the only one who can manage the problem of these people. So we see that we have an advantage of the level of this company. Passing on to the fact that even if we will try to implement this measure, we see the fact that we got at the end of the day some answers without some questions without an answer from the proposition team. They didn't actually explain to us if we implement this measure, how exactly this money will be distributed to the people that they want to save. Also, they didn't understand that this measure will have a great impact on the company, because if an executive isn't incentivized to do his best for the company, then the company will have a decrease. And apparently the proposition team didn't actually understand how this system works, and that's why they failed to prove to us the fact that this payment of bonuses should be condemned. We also have a confusion. They try to explain to us the fact that this money will be distributed to some employers, and after that they come and explain the fact that we'll distribute this money to the dying people. So we don't actually understand how exactly this measure will be implemented, taking into consideration their argument. Also, a very important point is the fact that they agree that to the fact that the executive deserves this bonus. So if I'm an executive and I complete my task and I also put an extra effort which leads to the profit of the company, why exactly do I have to remain without my bonuses if I still deserve it? Another important fact was that people die because of bonuses. No, this is not true. People don't die because of bonuses. People die because we have another problem that can be solved in another way. Taking all this in consideration, we see that the opposition team proved to you the fact that these bonuses represent an incentive for this CEO and represent from these executives, and also represent a way in which the company has an economical growth, which leads us to advantages at the level of this society. Taking all this in consideration, please vote on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we as a proposition came to you with a very reasonable and very practical proposition, while side opposition didn't even listen to us. Firstly, they did not challenge any of our arguments. They completely ignored or did not properly rebut any of our arguments, but they instead talked about things that they would rather have had us propose. Let me tell more about that. Like they repeated the motion and challenged our model and said that we did not understand the motion, but we do not we must see how you do not get it. It's very simple. We said that we are trying to save lives, we are trying to make it better for the people, whereas you kept talking about your own story. So they say they don't understand how bonuses will save lives, but we said how that little bonus that we give both in our first and second and third speeches, that it will change their lives for better, even if it's a very little step. And we said that at least we are doing something while the opposition sitting would have the people die. And we also said in the second speech about the argument vicious cycle. It was an argument that was completely ignored by them. They didn't say anything about it, like there was no second speech at all, and they just kept talking about how we don't understand how we will save lives. But it was very clear in all first speeches. And also, they didn't bring up as many arguments that were relevant, but the only argument that was really relevant was the motivational rewarding argument, which was completely rebutted with the arguments about the big salary that is the difference between the salaries of an executive and a poor employee, and that's what really motivates and rewards the executive. And he also said that there are promotions for that code also, and they did not worry about that either. So, and also, they said that the executives are worth many workers, but while we, and that's why they deserve it, while we already proved you that the workers need it, and deserving is not our really important for the pragmatic government here. They don't really see how the pragmatic government works. They just think that we are just going to take the bonuses away. While in our models, we clearly stated that we are going to distribute to the poor employees to make their life and working conditions better, and that they will have better lives, and they will maybe be able to go buy another bread for their children. But while we said needing is more important than deserving, and that we, as the government, will do it no matter what, they just kept saying that they do not understand how we will take it. Like, those are really irrelevant details, I think. And they also admitted themselves the instability of the bonuses that motivate the executives. While we already said that by taking those bonuses and giving it to people, we will be doing a better beneficial, practical benefit by making people happy and saving lives. And they contradicted themselves in saying that the bonuses are the only thing that keeps them in place, while they said that it's unstable. So they also claim that we have a problem with bonuses. Well, we don't really have a problem with bonuses. We have problems, as we have said so many times over and over again. We have problems with the people dying in the streets, the poor workers who are being crushed under the weight of the executives and the rich people. And we aim to change that, whilst the opposition would rather have us talk about things that we are not really proposing. And also, they said that the people do not die of bonuses and claim that we are not going to save lives, while we, in all of our speeches, and as I just stated, we really save lives, and we are going to make a difference, and we are going to save these people, unlike any practical benefit that was not given by the opposition team. I thank you. That's why you should go with that proposition.
Guys, you want to just like